And welcome back, everyone, to the start of the brand new Naruto What If. From Mr. Smith, we have the question asked: what if Gaara was raised in the Leaf Village with Naruto, or at least in the village? Naruto's obviously there too. Now, obviously, the big question in this is how the hell does this even work? This is one of those times where I do have to lean more into the fanfic side of the what if, because there's no rational reason that a village would willingly give up their Jinchuriki, ally or not. That's not something that normally happens. But there is a precedent for them sending their Jinchuriki to a village. What do I mean by that? Well, first and foremost, one thing I got to address right now is I'm on the wrong page on this. There we go. First thing I got to address is someone brought up that maybe because of Gaara, the third would enact a law earlier not to talk about like the Shikaku or something like that. This is assuming he even knows about it. But the problem right there is that doesn't work because Gaara is the same age as Naruto. I think that gets overlooked because the Saiyan siblings, Temari and Kankuro, are older than the Rookie 9 or Rookie 12, whatever. They're older than them. They're like 14, 15, 16 versus their 12 to 13 age. But no, Gaara is the same age as Naruto, which means there's no actual reason that it gets enacted early. Unless like Gaara is literally born in the village, which we're not doing here. We're having him sent to the village. So the rule about not talking about the Nine Tails probably is already instated at that point. It all depends on when we decide to send Gaara there. I would say we would send him probably before the incident with Yashimaru is what happens. Where there's still hope for him as a person to be a good-natured person. Now, how old was he at that point? That is actually a very good question. I did not check that. He's in his single digits. Like, he's got to be only like 4 or 5, I think. Gaara. How old was he when that happened? He was no older than I want to say like 5 years old. Let's see here. Background. Jinchuriki. Gaara's raisins. Gaara would try to connect villagers, being kind and offering them any assistance he could, but being a Jinchuriki made him frightened. Gaara didn't understand. Okay, he was 6 years old. He was 6 years old when this happened. All right, so let's actually then go with the 5 years, because that's actually puts him at a really good age. So Rasa Rasa, the Kazekage at the time, has a conversation with Sarutobi. I would like to send my son to live in the village for a time. It'll be good. It'll be good for our village relations to have the son of a Kage living within the Leaf Village, living in one of the villages. If you'd like, you can also have one of your ninja live in our village. We can think of it as an exchange program. And Sarutobi thinks about it. Now, I think the ninja who gets sent to the Saiyan, I think at least for what if, is kind of irrelevant. Because his son Ozma is way too old to be like on an exchange program. There's no way they're giving him up. Any kid, and there's apart from maybe like Sasuke, there would be no, and so the Uchiha massacre should not happen at this point. It would be a few years later before the Uchiha massacre, if I'm not mistaken. But what's the best way to put it? Assuming that he doesn't do an exchange as a exchange program, no, we'll do. He'll probably look at Rasa and go, "We'll be honored to host your son. I'll be sure he has living arrangements, living arrangements and a place to stay." Of course, and this, I think, lends us to what ultimately happened with the Sand and the Leaf, at least in part 1, where the Sand ultimately betrayed the Leaf, tried to invade him along with the Sound because they were feeling that the Leaf was taking missions away from him. The country is in a desert, so it's not like it's good for farming or anything. And so it's cold in here. Right now we're out of order, so my dog's shaking a little bit. I'm putting a blanket over her a little bit to keep her warm. That's why I'm also in the sweater right now. It's freezing in here. Luckily, my snake cage has a heating lamp, so that helps to offset that. And it's a corn snake, so he's hardy as it is. I digress. So, or did I just leave off? Okay, so because we know they would eventually betray the Leaf, at least in part 1, they obviously reconciled by part 2. uh, or at least they were on better terms than what happened there. But because of that, we can look at this as a sand version of what they were going to do with Rin and the Three Tails, where they basically forcibly put the Three Tails in Rin. We're going to send her back to the village and awaken it to basically attack the village like a sleeper agent, basically. Now, obviously, that didn't happen. They ended up killing Rin, and therefore the Three Tails got released. Here, I think it's more that Rasa doesn't have a way to activate the Shikaku. I don't think he has that. But I think what he's planning on is that because of the way Gaara is, the way Gaara's treated, he's hoping, because he's heard rumors that the Nine Tails Jinchuriki is also in there, he's hoping that it's going to be the same thing here, and that basically the Shikaku will awaken and just start to attack the village and cause a huge amount of damage, weakening them. Furthermore, he's probably cohorting with Danzo of all people, because the Leaf and the Sand right now are on decent terms. They're at least non-aggressive with each other, and with Danzo being willing to work with someone like Orochimaru outside the village, and Danzo wanting wanting to be Hokage, this can be a long-term play. He's trying to become Hokage, to usurp Sarutobi. Is basically Rasa's talk with Danzo, saying, "My son is the Jinchuriki of the Shikaku. He has held it at bay for a time, but every now and then the Shikaku will awake. The Shikaku comes close to awakening. Tell me, what is the status of your Jinchuriki? The boy Naruto. Yes, I made sure to spread word of his condition to the public. But Sarutobi, however, made sure to pass the law that no one was to openly speak of it. But the damage has been done. They shun him. There's based on what we see, it doesn't look like anyone truly beat Naruto, but there is hints that maybe that could have happened. They hate him. I am, and based on what you say of the Shikaku's sand abilities and how Gaara reacts, there's nothing to say that it wouldn't be the same or worse for him. Good. Then we are in agreement. When the Sand Village is razed and the Third Hokage is dead, we will form a new alliance and a new agreement. Lord Hokage. Of course, Danzo would ultimately plan to betray Rasa just like Orochimaru did, but still, that is the setup I see for Gaara being brought into the village. And so, Gaara is, and so no one knows about the Shikaku right now. That has not been revealed. That's not public knowledge for the Leaf, except for Danzo, who does spread a little bit of word, at best he can with the new law in place, that this new kid, Gaara, there's something weird about him. So, at first, people are like, oh, this kid, he's very nice. Look how sweet he is. And Gaara's like, these people aren't nice to me. Okay, I'll help you. And at first, it's like, all right. But then people start to just shun him again. And after a year, he's like, wait, I hear he's like a monster too. He's a sand demon. And, he's playing with a kid. At one point, the sand comes to protect him from a kid. Accidentally. No, I'm sorry. It's not what you think. I was like, and then, once again, it's the same thing. He gets shot. It's the same here. Now, granted, people aren't trying to kill him here, which is good. At least, not yet. I do have an idea for that. But right now, no one's trying to do that. But again, it's not as bad for here as it was for Naruto, because Naruto was born with that stigma, unfortunately, in his village. Gaara is more of it. Gaara at least had the opportunity to try to make friends and be courteous. And they're at least a little bit more courteous with Gaara, who's already demonstrated that he's a nice person. Naruto is obviously a troublemaker who wants attention, but it's because he's alone. And it comes, and Gaara, once again, she's like, I'm all alone again. Why am I always so alone? It's like, hey, it's that kid. It's like, what? It's like, hey, loser. It's like, what are you doing? Why, all by yourself? Well, yeah, no one wants to play. You'd probably no one wants anything to, we want something to do with you. Look at the raccoon eyes on this kid. He started making fun of him. Why are you being mean? And, wait, no. And they're gonna try to beat up on it. It's like, no, don't do that. And just as they're about to, there's a voice behind him. Hey, leave him alone! And he's like, what? It's that kid. What do you want? I said leave him alone. Huh? Because at this point, the guards have probably been in the village for a few weeks, maybe a month. And like Naruto maybe has heard of this new kid, but has not actually like met him. And maybe he's seen him once or twice. But no, Gaara hasn't actually noticed Naruto. Maybe he's heard of Naruto, this troublemaker, but that's about it. And now he's seeing this kid. It's like, I said, leave him alone. You want to fight someone? Try this. And he tries to do a jutsu. What is he going to do? Boom. That's the fight code. Even Gaara's like, what? It's like, please. It's that. And Naruto actually just charges him and actually manages to land a hit on him. Still leave him alone. It's like, then he starts getting his ass kicked. He's no, I said leave him alone. And then the sand comes in. Leave him alone right now. It's oh God, he's a monster. Are you okay? Hey, I should be asking that. Are you okay? Oh man, that was. You're all beat up. Here, wait. I keep some with me just in case. And because Gaara's a nice kid. It's really sad when you think about Gaara. He was actually a really sweet kid starting out, which really goes to show nurture versus nature, unfortunately. And he's like, oh, thanks. Wow, you scared him with that sand. Like, yeah, it just happens. The sand just comes to protect me. Now, I should be noted, Gaara doesn't carry a gourd with him when he was a kid. The sand's just kind of naturally around him. So I imagine the sand kind of like is naturally following him, but because the sand he keeps is special. I mean, maybe he keeps a gourd on his back after all, or maybe it's just something that's kind of naturally around. It's a good question, actually, how you would interpret young Gaara's sand abilities. Because, again, he doesn't have a gourd on his back. He's in a desert, so there's sand everywhere. And the sand is special because he's infusing his chakra into it. At least I believe. It's difficult when we're talking about young Gaara because there's two different variants that Gaara has for sand manipulation. Gaara can manipulate existing sand around him with magnet release. But Gaara also has a special sand, which is infused with his chakra, which is an ability passed on by his mother, if I'm not mistaken. So, and that's the special sand he keeps in the gourd. But he doesn't have that, so would he still have sand here? I mean, I guess he could still just grind. We know he made a lot of sand when fighting Kimimaro. So, and that was more sand than he normally carries. So, I guess he could pull sand from the. I guess it can work in this environment. Obviously, he would eventually, get the gourd on his back. But, and it's like, whoa, that's all right. Wait, what happened? I scared them away. It's like, you scared them away? What? Wow. How'd you do that? He shows the sandal. It's like, well, yeah, everyone just looks at me like a monster. It's like, are you kidding me? That's awesome! Huh? What? It's like, oh man, I wish I could do this. This is cool. And even the sand is kind of like reacting, almost like the ocean in Moana. Like, it's like the sand almost somehow has a look of confusion it could have. It's like, wait, what's going on? It's like, oh man, this is so cool. I don't know why you think you're a monster. They think I'm a monster too. It's like, why did they do that? I don't know. They just look at me with hate. And it's like, yeah, I understand that. Yeah. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Oh, I've heard your name in the village. I'm Gaara. He doesn't actually have a last name, but just of the desert. Well, again, we don't really know what. They have to have a surname, don't they? Is it of the desert? Or Nosabaku, I believe it's called. Is that the surname of Gaara? Let's just say no. Let's just call it this. Sabaku. I think that is because that's the Japanese version of the desert. I think so. Gaara Sabaku. It's like, oh, cool. It's like, I mean, do you want to be friends? It's like, oh, Naruto actually was like, really? I don't really have any friends. It's like, no, I thought I did, but then the same thing happened here. So yeah, friends. It's like, yeah, Naruto gives him like a. Or and so their friendship starts. And this is super important for Gaara right now. Because the fact is, Naruto is the only genuine person in his life. Like, and the Third Hokage is a good person to him. Like, that's one thing, unlike his dad, the Third Hokage actually does check up on Gaara to see how he's doing and actually, realizes he's a good person, unlike his dad. And his siblings aren't evil either. They're just scared to shit of Gaara. And then, unfortunately, the Yashimaru thing. We know for a fact Yashimaru actually did love Gaara, but he was loyal to the Kazekage and had to do what he had to do. So he had to lie to Gaara, which means it wasn't genuine something there. But no, Naruto's like the only genuine person in his life, and There's no hiding anything with it. Like him and Naruto are quickly become fast friends, including like brothers, because they're talking about their experiences. And Gaara even explains why his village left him, why he was gone. He said they told me they sealed a monster inside me, the Shikaku, the one-tailed spirit of the sand. Whoa, wait, you mean like the nine tails? Mm, I've heard about it. There's like nine tail beasts. I have the lowest. I have the only the one tail. Who, by the way, again, it is assumed that because we know the Nine Tails is the strongest of the tail beasts. We do know that. And that Yuki is the second one. So even though it's not 100% confirmed, again, I've seen videos kind of debating it. It does seem the tails denominate at minimum the level of chakra they have. Not saying it's like a 10 times multiple or whatever, like it's consistent, because the Nine Tails is like twice as strong as the rest of the tail beasts combined or something like that. But point being, the Shikaku, at least on a chakra basis, seems to be the weakest of them. That still doesn't mean he's weak by any stretch. Shikaku's still not someone you want to F with. And they look at me like that. And Naruto actually is kind of able to put some pieces together. The looks that they gave Gaara. Again, the village doesn't give quite the same looks to Gaara that the Sand Village did, but still. And Naruto he's not gonna it's like, I have the Nine Tails, but he's like, the way they look at me. Naruto's kind of putting it into the back of his mind. But they are still they come kind of thick as thieves. They even joined the Ninja Academy. As Sarutobi does ask the Raikage if it would be fine if Gaara becomes a ninja of the leaf until he is returned to the Sand Village. To which Rasa is like, what is going on here? He's supposed to I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes here for this. So yeah, Rasa is just like, yeah, fine. He's got to make it look good, but he is also in contact with Danzo. What has happened? What has happened? For everything I'm told, Gaara isn't just not rampaging or getting worse. He's getting better. Like, what the hell is going on here? and Danzo's like, he met the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Seems they were able to form some sort of a bond over their past experiences. Well, what are you going to do about it? Don't worry. I have an idea, but it'll take a little bit of prep time, and I'll need the assistance of your ninja as well. And so the ninja life kind of began. I mean, Naruto and Gaara's relationship is very much brotherly. Gaara is a bit more than me. He grows more confident being around Naruto's confidence, and Naruto tempers himself a little bit because Gaara is so soft spoken. But they grow up, they start attending the academy. Which now, does Gaara have his gourd? But say at the end of the academy, I think he does have his gourd. He doesn't start with his gourd, or maybe he starts with like a small gourd and just increases the size as it goes on. But yeah, and as far as the academy life goes, you would see some differences here. One, Gaara is arguably top of the class, but the catch-22 on that is Gaara can't really do hand-to-hand combat because his sand gets in the way of that, and his sand reacts defensively. Mostly just defensively. But every once in a while, like Sasuke, for example, who is going to be top of the class still because he can do everything, does say he wants to take on Gaara, use your sand too. And, Sasuke tries to get through it, and he can't. He just can't. He's not at a level where he can do that. Lee, with his weights on, who is far stronger than Sasuke at this point, could not get through that sand. With his weights off, yes, he could, but that's beside the point. So, yeah, but Sasuke is looking at this as a true challenge. Likewise, Naruto actually does train with Gaara. He does help him out with hand-to-hand. Gaara helps the best he can anyway, and Gaara helps him with actual like hand-to-hand, but in the sense of like actually being able to know how to dodge better, because his sand can provide an unpredictable X factor in this equation. And so he Naruto has practiced dodging with the sand quite a bit. So Naruto is actually better in hand-to-hand combat here because he knows how to dodge more effectively, which means when him and Sasuke or Kiba go toe-to-toe, he not only can beat Kiba in a fight, he actually is capable of, I know it's cold. It's draining my battery life on my computer, but it should be fine. It should be good for the rest of the video. He's actually able to go at least toe-to-toe with Sasuke. So there's that. Beyond that, there is The relationships with the women, the girls in the class is a little different. Naruto's not constantly asking Sakura for dates, even though he thinks she's pretty. He's not as annoying about it here, because he's not just looking for attention anymore. He's got a friend, so he doesn't necessarily need that validation as much. Gaara, I also think, is also one of the maybe considered like the bad boy a little bit, just because he's got the raccoon eyeliner a little bit. But he's got a little bit of a fan club himself. I could even see, who did I say? Let's see here. I could see him actually being friends with more of the softer individuals in the group. He's actually Gaara is friends with Hinata, who still likes Naruto though. Naruto I think worked better for her, at least in the vein of this, just because he's more confident and all that. Friends with Shino, friends with Hinata, friends with Choji, friends with Shikamaru. I could also see maybe Ino kind of leaning towards Gaara a little bit over Sasuke, but she's like, I'm so torn, they're both so gorgeous. So I still see a rivalry there with Sakura. But I still think Hinata still likes Naruto more than Gaara. Like, she's not like, he's like, I like Gaara, but I like Naruto. No, I think she likes Gaara as a friend. She does like him as a friend. And I could definitely see a scenario where they get together. Absolutely. But no, I do think she'd lean more towards Naruto. But more to the point, after a little bit, then the Ichiya massacre happens, Sasuke changes, and then we get closing in on the academy graduation, and there is an attack at night with, as they're kind of walking, as Gaara and Naruto are hanging out, of mysterious ninja attacking Gaara, and they end up hurting Naruto, and Gaara he's like, leave him alone! He's like, Gaara! Naruto, and just boom, smacks him down. He's like, Gaara, are you okay? And just, oh, it's fine, just, it's okay, it's all good. And he's like, Gaara, what's going on? It's like, it's trying to take over. Gaara, it's me, come on, man, you can do this. And so Gaara's like, it's me. It's like, Naruto. And it's like, come on, you're stronger than anyone I know, man. You can beat this thing. Who are you? You're Gaara. You're Gaara, and no one tells you what to do. Not even me. Not your dad, not me, not some stupid Saiyan Tanuki. And because Shikaku hears that, and he can even hear Naruto's not hearing it, but the fox's chakra reacts maybe a little bit instinctively, like, fuck that Shikaku. And the Shikaku's like, you little. It's like, he's right. What? It's like, go be quiet. It's like, you don't get to. I said be quiet. And he just gets over. It's like, be quiet, or else you're so deep inside of me, you'll never get out. It's like, you little. And so Gaara's able to keep it and say, thanks. No problem, man. It's like, my friend. And so graduation would come and go, and unfortunately Naruto would still fail. And Gaara passes, he's got his full gourd on. Now, Gaara does have a leaf ninja headband. Why? Because he's now kind of staying in a leaf full time a little bit. Why? Because after that event of these ninjas attacking, some actual Anbu show up, see what happened, and note that it's leaf headbands with the root and sand headbands. And so Danzo has to go into hiding for all of part one because he's like, damn it, I have to wait for that blasted third to die. Because, yeah, I have to be quiet now. Shit, that didn't work. And Rasa eventually is like, there was an attack on my son. I demand him back. It seems he's no longer. I demand him in return. I'm afraid we're not going to be able to accommodate your request so easily, Lord Kazekage. What is that? It's like, due to the fact that, and so, he says, due to the fact that some of the attacking ninja were members of your own village. And he was, the Kazekage, Rasa's like, they got caught. So, for the time being, it would actually seem that the safest place would be here. But I'll keep an extra eye on Gaara. Not to say he needs it. He handled himself very well. Even protecting Naruto. Your own Jinchuriki, is that right? And how would you know that? Because... how exactly would you know that? And again, Rasa let it slip, because Rasa probably wasn't a very good Kazekage, to be honest. And he lets it slip that, yes, I would admit, I've been having communications with a member of your village, Danzo Shimura. Perhaps you should take it up with him. And it's clear, you were planning something, but he's not going to fess up to it, and he gave me Danzo's name. So this is basically one of those, it's like, yes, well, we'll keep an eye, and I'll update you monthly on Gaara and how he's doing. And I'm like, we both know I know, but I can't actually prove it right now. Even though you have Leaf Ninja in here, you can do the whole Cloud Village thing and disavow that ninja's actions. So yeah, you'll get a slide this time, but let's not try it, shall we? Meanwhile, Danzo goes into hiding. Naruto is depressed. Gaara hangs out with him, and Gaara he's oh, cheer up, Naruto. There'll always be next time. Yeah, I guess. Whose team do you think you're gonna be on? I'm not sure. Which I'm not gonna do teams right now. I'm saving that for part 2. That one I really have to do some thinking on. Gaara might not even be on a team. He might have a special circumstance because he's the Kagekaze's kid, and technically not a full-fledged member of the Leaf yet. But he's a Leaf Ninja at the moment. Still, I'm gonna have to do some finagling here. It might have to be a scenario where he actually gets placed on as an extra member for a team. But right now we'll deal with it as we deal with it. Naruto still gets approached by Mizuki. Gaara's oftentimes awake at night, so he's just staring at the moon, and he hears the not the attack, but the fact that Naruto stole the scroll of sealing, and he's like, "What? No!" And so it's like, Naruto, and so eventually the whole Iruka Mizuki Naruto thing, Iruka shows up. Gives the whole speech. He's Naruto Uzumaki. And Naruto, and to his credit, when he hears that he has the nine-tailed fox, says, I realized it a while back. I was different. When Gaara mentioned his family, or the way his life went, and how it went here, it all just made sense. I just didn't want to believe it. And then, Gaara shows up to aid Naruto and says, "You will not hurt our sensei. You will not hurt Naruto or our sensei." So you're the Shikaku brat, aren't you? Say, huh? How does he know about that? Now, I do think because of incidents that have happened with Rasa and all that minor word has gotten around at least to the higher up shinobi and maybe even Iruka and definitely the third that he is the Shikaku Jinchuriki. So I do think, and especially with Danzo and everything I have here, I do think at least the Jonin and probably Iruka know that he is or at least he's got the Shikaku in him. That explains a lot. So, but he just accepts him just like he does Naruto. And Gaara just, kind of binds him in his sand. Gaara has also gained more control over his sand over the years as he's grown and trained with Naruto and trained with the sand. He's not anywhere near as insane here as he is in the original, not even close. In fact, he's actually think of what we get, honestly, in Shippuden, and then augment that a little higher in terms of mental state, and there you go. But he's still got finite control. He's not driven by rage, so it actually gives him more clarity while he's fighting. And so he's actually he binds Mizuki. Mizuki is like, "Let me go!" It's like, only after Naruto's done. Right. You threatened our sensei. You ever do that again, I kill you. Show me what you got. But then he gets bound by Gaara. What? It's like, it's Shadow Blow Jutsu. And even Gaara's like, whoa, that's amazing. Beats on Mizuki. They basically it's like, you're going to get crucified, literally. It's like, no. So, yeah, ultimately Gaara helped save the day a little bit, but he didn't really need to. He just showed up for his friend. And so, hey, Naruto. Close your eyes for a second. You graduate. And Gaara's like, It's like, Eureka Sensei! It's like, yeah, and Gaara and them have a laugh. So that's where part 1 is going to end. Gaara, if he's raised in a leaf, I think is going to be very good for Gaara and good for Naruto, because Naruto's already improving a little bit as it goes. So, yeah, but unfortunately, this has soured Danzo's plans for a good long while. He's not going to be part 1. He wasn't really going to be anyway, because he wasn't part originally. But it made sense that he'd be a part, at least of this part, because he knows a Jinchuriki's coming, and he wants the Hokage seat, and with a deal with Rasa, he would definitely at least have a shot at it. Rasa, unfortunately, is like, fuck! And unfortunately, this means there might not be an invasion of the sand and sound, because he doesn't have their weapon, Gaara, to wreak havoc in the sand, leaf. So, yeah, this could be interesting. But until then, we'll see you again for part 2 on Wednesday next week. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.